The new GPU series from AMD, Nvidia and possibly Intel are right around the corner, with availability around the beginning of 2025. So, until then, what are the best bang for buck GPUs for the time being? If you don't know, stick around for this GPU buying guide, and while you're here, hit the subscribe button to help the channel grow. Before we dive in, first you need to ask yourself, what type of gamer are you? Is ray tracing a must-have and prefer visuals over high frames per second? Or it's something that you enable, have a look a bit around and you disable it afterwards as the performance loss is high and you tweak settings to get high frame rates? Make no mistake, you can have a 4090 and in some games when maximizing everything, including ray tracing or going path tracing all the way, may yield low frame rates, thus requiring upscaling and maybe frame generation. Think about this for a second. Another thing you need to consider is at what resolution do you want to play games. If now you have a 1440p display, but in a few months plan to make the switch to 4K, then the GPU you have or plan to get now may not be the best fit due to memory limitation, or it is not powerful to push decent frame rates when using the same 1440p settings at 4K. I'll share what I think are the best GPUs for a given resolution based on the GPUs that I tested on this channel so far and some research on the internet. I'm gonna mention the previous generation of GPUs, that is AMD's 6000 series and Nvidia's 3000, but won't get my recommendation as soon the latest generation from these two vendors will be released. Don't forget that AMD's 6000 series and Nvidia's 3000 series were launched way back in 2020, at least their higher end variants. I think that Nvidia and AMD will focus on performance improvements for the upcoming series and current one and leave aside the older generation, but I may be wrong. My recommendation will be based on the latest release games and trying to achieve at least averages of 60 FPS at high settings. Also, I'm assuming you have a good CPU to pair it with the correct GPU. So let's begin with 1080p. I would choose the 4060 Ti 8GB version. This comes with the latest tech available from Nvidia and DLSS at 1080p is better than FSR. I will not pay more than 350 euros or USD for this card. Some years ago, these 128-bit cards would have been branded as a 50 series GPU, not the 60, and be the entry-level gaming cards from that series. If you could get the 7600 XT for 60 or 70 euros less, maybe that will be a better choice. Another GPU to keep an eye on is AMD's 7700 XT, which offers better performance than the 4060 Ti, but prices can be higher depending on the region. If you could find a 6800 XT or a 3080 10GB version at the same price point of around 350 euros in the second-hand market, you will be gaining performance at the expense of power draw and features. Let's move to 1440p. The best price to performance GPU is the 7800 XT. This delivers decent performance for 1440p, and in most games you will not need upscaling to get 60 FPS. There is the catch though. If you want RT, this is not the card for you. Sure, you can enable it, but you will lose a lot of performance and you will need to enable FSR. While I think that at 1440p FSR looks decent, DLSS is a bit better. I tested the 7800 XT card some time ago and it's a good option if you pay less than 480 euros or USD right now. In my opinion, if you want to enjoy ray tracing at 1440p, the starting point should be the 4070 Super, but you will have to pay more, even though it has 12GB and 192-bit bus compared to 7800 XT's 16GB and 256-bit bus. I had a look at Zotac's offering some time ago, and at 1440p with some tweaks you can enjoy ray tracing in most games. The price should be around 550 euros USD, give or take. If it's above 600, it's not worth it in my opinion, although this depends a lot on your location. As we are close to the release of the next generation, it's hard to recommend anything about these cards, as the rumor suggests that Nvidia's 5070 GPU and AMD's counterpart should land around the 600 to 700 price mark and perform better. These new GPUs should be announced in early January at CES 2025 with availability in the same period. With that said, there are people that may need a new GPU right now, so let's move to 4K. At 4K without RT, I think right now the best GPU is the 7900 XTX. These have dropped in price and can be found for less than 700 euros USD. Without RT, this GPU can deliver an above 60 FPS experience in most games out there, and FSR quality at 4K looks good. The closest competition from Nvidia would be the 4070 Ti Super, which usually costs more and in most markets is not worth it, as the price difference to the 4080 Super doesn't cover the performance gap. Now 4K with ray tracing. This is tough, as the latest games released brings the 4080 Super to its knees when RT quality is set to high and you need to use upscaling, sometimes set to balanced. Keep in mind that in order to use frame generation, you need to be at a stable 70 or maybe 80 frames per second to have low input lag. I have this card and I can assure you that you need to tweak settings and use upscaling in the latest games, that is, if you like maximum settings. Let's talk now about the two best offerings from AMD and Nvidia. The issue is that AMD's top dog, the 7900 XTX, in some markets can be found at the same price point as the 4080 Super. Sure, it has better raster performance and more memory, but it is outperformed by the 4080 Super when enabling RT. And to be honest, in some games the 4080 Super may even win in raster, but those are far in between. The 7900 XTX should be your choice only if you want the best from AMD, or you don't care too much about RT, and if Linux is something that you may consider for gaming down the road. If we take the rumors out there into account, then the 7900 XTX would still be AMD's top dog for some time, at least when it comes to raster performance. The 4090 is the best card to have right now. When using RT at 4K is the one to go for, but I would avoid it, to be honest. Prices are high, the rumors say that the 5080 should outperform it, and being so close to the launch of the 5090, it's a hard pill to swallow. Nvidia usually releases first the high-end GPUs, so the 4090 is gonna be the first one to be replaced from the current generation. Again, I strongly advise to avoid buying cards over 600 right now, as the launch of the next GPUs is close and those around the 600 price point are rumored to be replaced as well. When it comes to the 3000 series from Nvidia and 6000 from AMD, nowadays I would consider them only in the second-hand market. I would avoid buying this series new. You could snag a 6800 XT or a 3080 10GB version at the same price as the 4060 Ti new. Sure, you will need a better PSU, but you will have better performance either way. There is as well the Arc series from Intel that have competitive prices. Drivers have improved a lot, but I have not paid attention to these GPUs. I plan to change that with the launch of Battlemage, as I want to buy one to see how it performs compared to the competition in Windows and in Linux as well, and cover how the drivers improve over time. Sony's new PS5 Pro has seen a price hike compared to the original version, which doesn't make it better in the long run, as now GPU vendors have an excuse to ask more for lower tier cards. Let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts about the direction we are going. Lower tier GPUs see less and less performance increase compared to higher tier ones, while the prices go up. The 5090 is rumored to start at around 2000 euros or USD, and the 5080 is rumored to have a price hike as well. If the rumors are true, these GPUs will be out of reach for the majority out there, and I doubt that the 5070 that is rumored to cost around 600 will be a huge upgrade over the 4080 Super. If lucky, it will match it. Hopefully, AMD will deliver something good with good RT and improve their upscaling at the 500 to 600 price range, and Intel will surprise us with Battlemage. If not, Nvidia will reign yet again at this price segment. And that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful and you enjoyed it. If so, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. This will mean a lot for a small channel like mine. Take care and hope to see you all in the next one.